welcome everyone to Unplugged today. And since we started the July Business Toolbox, we've had so many things, so many powerful people come to talk to us, and we have another powerful person today. We've talked about the power of ideas. We've talked about the grit to follow through on the ideas. We've talked about how to start small. And sometimes, maybe when you think you're starting with somebody else, the person lets you down sometimes. So don't be afraid to start alone and scale up as you go. We've learned about how to create and nurture your connections in life, how to be fueled by passion. We talked about branding, and we talked about marketing, and how to ensure. Our last one was how to ensure your business is legal and to know what corporate obligations you have. So our vision is to help. Sorry, I'm getting a feedback. Hey Uchike, hi, welcome. This is your first. Hey Joanne, good to see you all. Our vision at Julia Jazz Consulting is to help build better businesses within our geographic ecosystem and also nationally, and also to help create a stronger private sector, because we need a stronger private sector to complement the public sector. We can't all work in government. We can't all work in as contractors, to the oil companies. We can't all work in the oil companies. So we do need a vibrant private sector. So that's where we are. It's all about money here today, So you'd ask me, and I ask some people ask, why do you put money last? Oh, if there's somebody,
hi, okay. Yes, I didn't want to interrupt Miss Julia before. So hi.
No, Ochike has been actually. If I have to give a gift for someone who has never missed a session, it's Ochike.
It's Ochike.
Truly,
Wow, fantastic.
yes.
We were colleagues at GT Bank, actually.
Yeah, he told me. Yeah, he told me. He told me that. Yes, So why put money last? As in, for me, and this is not me saying that it's not important, as Ochike is dancing.
Clown.
As important as money is, the truth is that I believe that money isn't the first thing you need to put on the table when you want to build a solid business. I don't think so. I don't know what are your thoughts around that? I know it's a strange question to ask you, but because you're the money woman, but is money the first thing? Because I'm going to engage you on two platforms. I'm going to engage you as an entrepreneur. I'm also going to engage you as somebody who provides alternative lending services. So, was money the first thing when you were starting out business nurture?
Definitely not, because the question is, what do you want to use the money for? How do you want to spend the money? So if I give you money and you don't know what you want, money without purpose has wings. So if you don't know exactly what you want to use the funds for, if you don't know what you want to use the money for, things would always crop up. Things that you didn't plan for, things that you didn't envisage, things that, it would always happen. And you find out that you begin to spend funds on things you did not even, or you're not expected to use them for. It can even be something personal, right? So you just say you want to start a business. You don't know, you have no plans, you don't know what you want to use it for, you have no breakdown of the expenses, and then you just have that money line fallow. No, you would likely spend it. So I wouldn't say money is the first thing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, in case money without purpose has wings. Yeah, money without purpose has wings, for sure. So today, I'd like to read a little bit about Ife to you. You can read about her. Sorry, my phone is giving me information that I don't need. Can you hear me? It wants me to get on Wi-Fi. I think I need to just turn off all my Wi-Fi. Yeah. Hi, Essien. Hi, Ijoma. Hi, everybody. Now, Ife is a chartered accountant and she holds a certification in disruptive strategy from Harvard Business School. Incidentally, that's the school my daughter wants to go to. That's the uni she wants to go to. So you can see I'm going to be doing this grind. I need money for a while. So I'm curious. Disruptive strategy. What is that?
Oh, okay. So disruptive strategy is just, and this was an online, I mean, it was through the Harvard Business Online School.
Yes.
It was, yeah, I did that sometime last year. Yeah. So disruptive strategy is just basically looking at your business, right, where it is, or even if you're starting out, looking at an industry. So taking the view of an industry, right? So you have so many companies within an industry. There are companies that are matured, but then there are places, there are markets in that industry that they are not serving, right? So we talk about incumbent companies, big companies that are out there. And the question is, what do people want? Because most times their strategy doesn't serve the masses, right? And the question is, how can I come and play within that industry? What sort of strategy can I use to come into this so-called big? So if you look at financial services, for example, you talk about particularly banking. So you talk about the big banks. How can a small player like Business come in without, we don't have the kind of deep pockets that these people have, or how can I come in with my small pocket, so to speak, small pocket? How can I come in and play in this? And sometimes, I mean, even the incumbent companies is something they also try to look out for, right? Because before you know it, so they are up here and the smaller companies are down here. Before they know it, these smaller companies begin to provide the services they are unable to provide, and then they Exactly. So that's what disruptive strategy is about. So I mean, it's, when I went on the course, it's the learnings were both for big companies, because you now have to, I mean, you can ignore the small companies, but then you don't know that they have something there that can, exactly. So you can't afford to actually ignore them, because they might have something in there. And yeah, that's what basically it is about. And sometimes, I mean, even from the big corporates, they talk about, you know, when you begin to see that there's an opportunity to disrupt the industry, because you can't fit that into your current structure, you might want to set up, you know, SBUs, small business units, that would actually go and play in that. So yeah.
So it's a win-win-win all around.
Well, for those who are ready to play that game and don't ignore it, particularly for the incumbent companies. Yeah, but for a small company, it's really thinking outside the box and looking at how you can go into a particular industry and disrupt, come up with something that can actually, you know, disrupt that industry. Sometimes collaboration also works, because the big companies won't want to, you know, go down there to play. But the question is, okay, can I buy up this small company and it becomes a small business unit in my group of companies, or in my division? Yeah.
So it comes under that umbrella.
Yes.
Of the big company.
Of a big company, yes.
Okay. Now the other thing that you may not know about Ife is that, hi Jerry, hi Sandra, you know, is that Ife, okay, you already know that she founded and she's the CEO of Biz Nurture Financial Services. And Biz Nurture is an alternative lending company that actually was set up to support the growth of small and medium-sized enterprises by providing alternative finance. What's alternative finance? We'll get to that soon, you know. But if I had over a decade experience in the, I now have to call them orthodox, because now we have the alternative financial sector. You know, in the orthodox, you know, and she's structured facilities up to the tune of $83 million. Well done to you.
More than.
Well done to you.
That was one facility.
That was one. One.
Yeah, that was one.
One.
That was one.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've actually done more
Okay.
than, yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, in fact, my sister is saying hi, and she is a GT Bank alumnus. She, oh yes,
Hi, Miss
yes.
Jerry.
She was one of those that
Great.
started.
Yeah,
I
great
think,
to meet you too. I've met you
yeah,
before, actually. I've met her before.
yes. I think a win-based thing or something like that.
Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes, yes. So, if you had a good job in the
Mm,
oh, Uchuka is clapping as an alumnus as well. Okay.
yeah. Credit to you.
Credit to you. Yeah. Yeah, you had a good job in the financial services sector as you know it. And you were handling solid
Mhm.
responsibilities. I'm sure you were pretty well paid, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, at
Why
that
did
time, yes.
yes. It's always relative. It's always relative, I tell you.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Why did you disrupt yourself and start up a business? What was your motivation?
Okay, so um I'm not the typical, oh, I wanted to start a business, I'd always wanted to start a business and I'm leaving my job, or I have this time frame of being in an organization before I start my business. No, I wasn't that kind of person. In fact, I was a career, some people still refer to me as a corporate lady. I was really career focused. I was very okay with rising through the ranks. However, I think at a point on the job, I didn't enjoy what I was doing again. I enjoyed some aspects of my work, and I didn't like some aspects of the job.
Okay.
And it's one of the things with entrepreneurship, because what I currently do now is the aspects of my previous job that I liked. So I liked some
Okay.
parts, but I didn't like some parts, and I got tired. And I was like, okay, let me take a break, from all of this. I was getting demotivated and I wasn't putting my best in the job anymore. So I was like, okay, let me take a break to just, they say when the kitchen gets too hot,
Oh
take a
yeah. You
stroll,
take a
right?
break.
And
Oh
that was
yes.
literally, yeah, take that break. So that was literally what I did. It wasn't like I set out to leave the company and to start my own business. It was an opportunity I saw. I took it. And so I went to do an MBA. I was away from the country for about 15 months and then I came back. In fact, when I came back, I was sure I still did not want to start a business. I wasn't going to do that.
Okay.
I was looking for jobs, I was doing all of that, but my preferred location was Lagos. I wanted to leave Port Harcourt and move to Lagos, but then my family is here. So it was a question of, okay, so how do you want to do this and all of that? Anyway, and the opportunity came. I mean, I've left the country for 15 months, and you would expect that people would have lost my number. But then I came in, and it was like I did not leave, right? And I got calls, people calling me, oh, Ife, we need money. The banks are not financing us. I have this to do. I have a contract to deliver on. And, I'd saved a lot in the bank as well. I'd saved money. So I had some savings that I could use to help people. So that was how I started, actually. I was like, okay, I don't want to go to Lagos. I want to go to Lagos. Family is here. I don't want to go back to, I got offers from here from 3 different companies, but I didn't want to go back to what I was doing, because one of the questions I asked when I went back, when I saw my previous boss, after I returned, was that, what has changed? And she said nothing. And I
Exactly.
was like, if nothing has changed, then I would just be frustrated. So, I saw that opportunity with the savings I'd gathered over the years, or I'd saved over the years. So I started, and then what started going out, and then I would ask a friend, oh, do you have funds? I've checked this company out. They're fantastic. I'm sure your funds would come back and they will give me money. I would ask my family. So that was literally how I got into it. So yeah, I've told you the reason why I left the bank. It was just
Yes.
because I'd gotten to the point where I felt it was getting too hot and I was demotivated. Yeah, and I left, and then I came back and saw an opportunity, which I took advantage of. So yeah, that's why we are here today.
Yeah. You know what you've touched on very 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 serious pain points. I'll talk there. They're pain points, but they're also pleasure points because when you're demotivated in an environment, the more you stay there, the less productive you are. So what's the point?
Exactly.
And then very serious question that we have to ask ourselves: what has changed? What has changed in your life?
Sure.
What has
Mm,
changed? You need to ask, and you
mm,
need to really do a reality check. You can't be
mm-hmm,
emotional. This is your life. It's the one life.
mm-hmm,
So if
mm-hmm,
you cannot answer that thing honestly, and
mm-hmm.
if I dare say, from what I hear about you, from what you said, you you jumped up from that cliff because it must have been
Mm.
a cliff. It wasn't. You weren't 100% certain, but you jumped up. You
No.
took that leap.
Mm-hmm,
You took that leap.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Okay.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
True.
Yes. So alternative financing, alternative lending. Talk us
Mm-hmm.
through that. What is that?
Okay, so we are all used to the traditional form of getting services. I mean, banking services. So I would use banking services. And one
Okay.
of the banking services we have access to is actually lending. So we go to
Yes.
banks to request for loans, right?
Yes.
So this is an alternative. It's just literally what it is. It's an alternative to what we are used to the traditional ways of doing banking or financing. And alternative finance in this case has to do with banking services. So it's just an alternative way to, getting those services, that from those banking services without necessarily needing a bank. That's it. So people need banking services, they don't need a bank. So that's where we are. So we are providing a
Okay.
banking service without necessarily being a bank or regulated by CBN.
Okay.
So
Is it like
yeah,
banking or
and we're
financial services? What would you call it? Is it like banking? Because people save money with you? I know you're also an
so
investment guru.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
So
I've experienced it. Yes.
yeah, yeah, true. So banking is a financial service. There are a wide range of financial services, right? So auditing, accounting, all of those things also fall under financial services. But in
Yes.
this case, I'm speaking strictly to banking. And
Okay.
under banking services, you have lending, you have payments, you have savings, you have investments. And I think that's where your question is, do we save?
Yes.
So the answer is no. We provide
Okay.
loan services to
Loan
people. I mean,
services. Okay.
we are currently working on a project where we'll begin to help people save. And when I say people,
Okay.
businesses, our
Okay.
key target markets are businesses, right? So everybody talks about personal savings. I mean, you had a class with me on that before,
Yeah.
but business savings, and more important, that is even shows right now, with the current pandemic, a lot of businesses are like, oh my God, running skelter. But imagine if there was a sort of business savings account, and that savings account is tailored towards investing, similar to the way we do with personal finance. So we're actually working on that project, and we hope to go live before the end of the year. But right now, what we offer are loan services, so lending.
Okay. Okay. So this is me. I mean, I'm going to. My sister is on this call, and I have to recognize my Coco. Coco is my namesake. Ian Samuel Rumbe, who is watching from Lagos. We have people watching from Benin. Hi Stella. We have people from all over. Hi Mercy.
Hello,
Hi
everyone.
Lara. Hi Eunice. Hi everybody. I knew that money would bring us here together. I knew, I knew. Mariam, we're going to answer your question in a short time. We're going to ask
Mhm.
you that question you're asking. We're going to answer it right now. In a short time. So this is me. My sister said Mama Coco, but I'm not sure you're talking about Mama Coco who sells volley down the road. You'll probably be looking at possibly. Hey, Mayan is from Anita. We are getting to that. We're getting to all that. Nobody will give a loan without without collateral. It's not possible. I got asked that question today, and I said,
Mhm.
for many of us, you see, this is our collateral. This thing, you go around wearing your real estate and your collateral around your neck.
Oh,
See,
the weeds.
collateral, the wigs. I'm amazed to know how much those things cost. Can you imagine how I've been saved from that? From the shoes, you know.
Yeah.
So you provide access to funding for the traditionally underserved. So can you
Mhm.
talk us through how, let's assume that Mama Coco has elevated to having a fast food stand where she sells her
Mhm.
belly and fish, and she's doing well. She's doing relatively well. Now,
Mhm.
how can she? Can you talk us end to end to how she can access a loan?
Okay, so that's from Business, right? Or
Yes,
generally
and
from
alternative
Business
funding sources. Yes.
finance. Okay, so like I said, funding sources of finance are just alternatives to your
Sorry,
usual traditional
MCs.
yeah, to your usual traditional banks, right? And a lot of them have emerged. So Business is one of those. And for us, and a lot of them actually use technology to drive businesses. So Business uses technology to drive this service. So to obtain a loan from Business, you go to our website, you click on apply for a loan, and then you click on register. If you're a first-time applicant, you have to register. If you're a returnee, all you just have to do is log into your account. So you click on register, put in all of your details. I mean, we need to know about you. So put in all your business details, and then would also
Sorry,
require
what
you
kind
to
of details
upload.
would you want? Just talk us through
So
what kind
we'll
of
need the
details. Yeah.
Yeah, so would need the business name, would need your registration number, would need the names of the owners of the business. If it's a sole proprietorship, that's just one person. If
Yeah.
it's a limited liability, definitely more than one person. Would
Yeah.
need a copy of your ID card as well. And then would also need your bank statement, 6 months bank statement. So you would have to upload all of those things on there. And then after doing all of that registration, we have different product types. So we have LPO financing, we have invoice discounting, we have special products for for specific industries. So we have what we call the Medi loan for the healthcare industry. We also
Okay.
have a product tailored to female business owners. So sorry, no no what now? I mean, no offense to the male business owners, but yeah, we have something for our female business owners called the Fempreneur loans. We also have something for the education sector called EduBiz loans. And then we have
Okay.
working capital, general working capital loans. So you select the type of loan you're applying for, and then for how long. Our loans are for 1 to 8 months. They are short-term loans because they're
Okay.
quite expensive. So they are short-term loans. So you apply and
Oh,
then
you just gave
you
me a heart
submit.
attack. You just gave me a heart attack. You said they're quite expensive. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So 1 to 8. I'm taking notes. I mean, I know this, but
Mm-hmm.
I always want to take down notes. Now,
Yeah.
I'll come back. I'll come back to the expense. I'm holding that down. But I want to ask, in your experience,
Mm-hmm.
why do women typically run away from going to access loans? Loans seem to be a four-letter word, a really scary four-letter word that we
Mm-hmm.
cast and bind and cast and bind and throw away.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they
Yeah.
scared of getting loans?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of things. Fear definitely is I mean, you've said it's scared. So it's a lot
Yeah.
of things. Either they've heard about somebody else's experience, someone took a loan, I was unable to pay back, maybe business went bad, something like that. And lack of knowledge. And when I say lack of knowledge, it's because people just think loan is bad. Why do you think loan is bad? Oh, they said it's bad. It's just based on people's experiences. Do you
Mm-hmm.
understand how loans work? There's something called good loans and there's something called bad loans. So the question is, even these experiences you've heard about, what did they use the loans for?
Four.
Was it a case of a bad loan or it was a case of a good loan? And that's why I said lack of knowledge, lack of information, because you just hear someone's experience. Oh, I wanted to do this and then I went for the loan. And it's not every loan that fits your business. You even need to know the type of, if you request from us, we turn you down once we see that we are not a right fit for you. right?
Okay.
It's not every loan that is also right for you. So if you go for a short-term loan, and when I say short-term means loans that you take typically for a year or less. That's the short-term
Okay.
loan. So if you go for a short-term loan for a long-term project means what you are using the money for, you don't get the returns for
There's a
until
mismatch.
over a year.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
mismatch already.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. So that loan will go bad. That is a bad loan for you already. So one of the things we try to do is to educate people. Even when we turn them down, we let them know the reason why. That look, if we give you this loan, we are going to ruin you, and that is not our aim. We are not trying to ruin you. I mean, except you come to lie to us that you need the short-term loan for a short-term project,
Project.
right?
Yeah.
And then we give it to you, and then at the end of the day, you go and do something else. So yeah, so people are generally scared because of lack of information. The fear is there based on people's experience, but most times because of lack of information. Loans are not bad, but the question is, when there is a mismatch, they then become bad. If you take a loan, I mean, it's just, again, I still go back to, I like to talk about the personal finance and mixing what you do for yourself. If you won't take a loan to fund your wedding, why would you take a business loan for something that your
People
business does not
do.
need?
People do.
Yeah. So anytime anybody
Yes.
tells you that or shares a bad experience with you, please ask them questions. Know why that experience was bad. What exactly happened? Right? Not all loans are bad, as long as you know what you need the loan for, the purpose. And that was why your first question even boils down to this: why would you take
Yeah.
money without a
Money.
purpose? There has to be a
Yes.
purpose. It's gonna fly.
It will.
It's gonna
It will go
fly if
bad.
you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will go bad. So yeah,
Yeah.
so mismatch. Yeah, I like that. Dead on arrival, mismatch, right? And lack of knowledge is the reason why people don't they fear taking loans. People need to get educated. I'm not saying go in depth. I'm not saying be a credit officer. No, but have the basic knowledge of how loans work before even
No,
taking a
guys,
loan.
the other thing is that Biz Nurture, and that is spelled BIS. No, not S. My goodness,
BIZ.
Julia. BIZNURTURE.
TURE. Yeah, it's one word.
BIZNURTURE is one word. You can find her on Instagram. She's really very active on Instagram. But also check out their
Yeah, the
website.
company is active. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. The company is active,
Mhm.
not Ife. Ife is as I think I'm more active than Ife.
I
I
think
think I'm
so.
more active.
I
And
think
I'm not
so.
that active, but I
Farmer
think
has
I'm more
tried to
active
draw
than
me
Ife.
out.
Oh, Fama has been the basic reason why I'm that active.
I
You know?
think-
You know.
Yeah.
So people want to know what the range of your goals. When you say it's expensive, are you at par with the traditional financial institutions, lending institutions? And then Geraldine is asking us a banking question. Maybe you guys should take that on offline. She says, "Are
Okay.
your operations are regulated under BOFIA?" Um,
Yeah.
no, Jerry,
No,
she
we are
has said
not.
that in the beginning. No,
Yeah,
they're
we can
not.
take that
Not
offline actually, but no, we are
yeah,
not. No,
they're not.
we have
They're
another
not required
license.
to be. Yes, they have a different kind of license. So, what's the range when you say how low can you go and how how high can you go for
Okay,
loans?
so yeah. Okay. So let me start with the fact that we are not at par with traditional lenders, which
Okay.
are banks. And the reason is because banks have access to cheap funds. You and I have current accounts with the banks. We have savings accounts, and we are not earning any form of interest. So all of those monies, imagine, I mean, all of us, a lot of us, right? So they
Yes,
have access
yes.
to all of those monies and they can play around with it. So we don't have access to those cheap funds. So, but compared to other alternative lenders, oh, we're very competitive. right? I mean, you find people charging as high as 10, 15%. We charge our range is between 5.5% and 6%. That's what we charge in Business. So that's how expensive it is, right? Timmy, I've answered that question. Between 5.5, depending on the product, and 6%. That's our
6%.
rate. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that's
Now,
because, I mean, we get investors that we pay interests to.
okay. Okay. Um, I'm wondering. Okay, banks have access to cheap funds. If I were to take aggregate my funding and put in Business Nurture, could I access a bigger loan? Because I really don't know. I mean, my daughter she's had a bank account since she was like 1 month old, and we keep putting into we have different financial instruments that we put money in for her, and I don't see that it's doing anything much apart from keeping me from buying jewelry and shoes. You understand? So it's safely out of my way.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
But so we do have access to funds. Sometimes we don't look around and see how much money do we really have access to, you know. But if I were to harvest all that money, aggregate it, and put it in a Business Nurture as collateral, that would turn you into a bank.
Okay, so yeah, so the project I told you we are working on is going to actually bring in that feature where people can use their savings with us as a collateral for their loan, their liquid funds with us as a collateral for their loans. But right now, we don't accept physical collateral, cash, or anything physical. We don't take collateral. The only thing we require are guarantors. So we need at least 2 guarantors, and that's all.
Okay.
So no, we don't take the cash. You can't use your cash right now as collateral for a loan.
Okay. Now, Eunice, is saying as is there a mechanism that enables you to periodically monitor how your clients utilize their loans?
That's yes. So what we do with clients, we don't go full time into monitoring. Once we disburse the loan to you, and that's why our selection process is really quite tough,
stringent,
right? Yeah. So very stringent, exactly. So once we disburse the loan to you, and one of our core values is integrity, we expect that, look, you use the funds for what you said you're using it for. We follow up on a weekly basis. So we do follow up on a weekly basis with our clients to ensure that, because we have investors' monies, and so apart from even offering the loan services, we have investors who we have to protect as well, right? So what we do on a weekly basis is make calls to them, where we can make visitations. We actually do visitations. We don't do that all the time, but we are constantly monitoring them through phone calls. How is business going, and ensuring that we get our repayments as at when due.
Okay, so they don't have to give you quarterly reports or anything?
No, they don't have to give us quarterly reports or anything. No, they don't. And if we have issues, we also carry their guarantors along. And again, with accepting guarantors, there's a process as well. You can't just give us anybody as your guarantor. We would also look at there are ways to check the integrity of a business and of individuals, although it's not always 100%. But we have mechanisms that we use in checking all of those things, behavioral patterns. And some of these things we check also include their own information with the bank or any other credit they've received elsewhere. Not just credit. When I say credit, it's utility bills. So if you are owing PHCN, for example, we would know, right? If you're owing MTN, we would know. It tells on who you are. We would know. So we check all those things, of course, with their consent, because before you are able to apply on our website, you need to give us consent to, have access to these records. So once you give us those consents, we check all of those things.
Okay. Now, Jerry also wants to know, what's your recovery rate been generally?
Okay, so our recovery, which is repayment rate, right?
Yes.
Our recovery rate pre-COVID rather was over 90%. But post-COVID, it has dropped, and understandably so, because, because of all of this, it has affected a lot of businesses, and because we majorly serve businesses, it's really gone down.
Okay. So have you been able to restructure
But then we're already
loans?
seeing, so let's say, we have to do that. We have to do that. Otherwise, the account will be running in default. And what we did was we did a case-by-case approach, because you had some people that were owing you pre-COVID, where everybody is now saying COVID has affected you. You're like, but prior to COVID, you were owing. Right now, you're now saying, everybody is COVID. So we handle that on a case-by-case basis. We've also given concessions as well. When you're running a business, you have to be as open as possible to people, because we also made them understand that, look, in as much as we're here to serve you guys, we also have we had a town hall meeting with our clients to let them know that we also have investors. Imagine if you went to the bank and the bank now starts telling you that they can't give you your money because they gave the money to Ife and Daughters, and Ife and Daughters is having challenges. You're not going to take it. And we are not going to do that with our investors. Our investors are without our investors, we won't even have enough funds to actually give them. So we had that town hall meeting so that they understand where we are coming from, and we also see their perspective. And it really helped. So we granted concessions. So we suspended penalty fees during the period of when there was a lockdown. Now things are beginning. Repayment rate has gone up. It's not where it used to be. It's better and improving gradually, just gradually. But the good thing about Business Nurture is that what we try to do is to spread our risk across industries. So because we have our portfolio is across a lot of industries, where educational sector, for example, no school fees. How would you tell the schools to come and pay? Exactly. So imagine if we were just dealing with the educational sector, it would have been.
You'll be tanking.
I'm not saying we are not hit, but we're spread across a lot of industries, so that has helped. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I want to read out some questions that have been coming. We might have answered them already, but let me read them out. From Mayan Etum, they said, how will this be different and beneficial? That is alternative lending sources. How would it be different and beneficial to the borrower? She has a 3-in-1 question. So let me read them all out, and then we take them one by one. How will your services be different? How are they different and beneficial to the borrower? Then will you require the same collateral that the banks need? That's a second part 2. And part 3 is, as a small business person who requires money for a project or maybe a contract, how will this be different from approaching a bank?
Okay, I think the third and first questions are kind of alike, because she said the question is how are we different from the
beneficial,
bank, or how our services different from the bank. So beneficial, So I'll take 1 and 3 together. Our turnaround time is definitely faster than the bank, because you do not need a collateral. We don't need physical collateral. We don't need your grandfather's death certificate. We don't need all of those things. All we need are for you to register, your business documents, your bank account statement. That's basic. All we need. And of course, proof of what you need the funds for. So if you have a contract, for example, you should have, say, an LPO from that company, right, to deliver on that contract. So once we have those things, we look through our services. It makes it shorter. We don't really need, imagine if you ask for landed property. If you see the requirements for the landed property, oh my God, it's a whole lot. So, we don't need all of those things. So definitely our turnaround time is shorter. So imagine if you have a supply to deliver, say, in 2 weeks, and you're able to get your loan within a week. In banks, it will take you how many months? Ochuke is here, right?
Yes,
he can tell you. Miss Jerry is here as well. Banks are beginning to improve as well, because I know some banks actually offer, they're going into alternative finance they are going into alternative finance as well, but you need to have an account with them. You don't need to have an account with us at all. You can come to us and even begin to build your credit record for those banks, because we expect that small businesses will grow at the end of the day. So we also we already begin to give you that track record, because all of the loans you take from us are reported to a central place, and banks also have access to those things. In fact, there are some people that have owed us and have gone to banks, and the banks tell them that, look, you're owing Business Financial Services, go and pay them before we give you a loan. Do you understand? So it works both ways, for those that owe and don't want to pay, and for those that actually pay. That's a track record. Your credit history is already being built. Yeah, so that's one of the benefits you get. So yeah, I've talked about turnaround time. You get the funds fast with Business, and we don't need collateral, right? And also I've talked about the fact that you begin to build your credit records with a Business, and eventually it would help you when you get big, because we might not be able to serve. I talked about mismatch of funds. You probably will grow to a point that Business might not be able to serve you anymore, and you have to go to the bigger banks. So yeah.
Or maybe Business is also growing along with us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you please repeat the second question? I've forgotten.
Will you require, I think you've answered it, will you require the same collateral that a bank needs, that the banks need?
No.
Okay.
No.
But do you need collateral? You need some comfort, right?
Yeah, just guarantors. Yeah.
Just the guarantors, eh?
Yeah, guarantors.
So it's
yes, people need to be able to speak to your integrity.
Okay. UC asked me today, is it possible to do it without the collateral? I said, what do you mean? You must put down something now.
You need to let us know people that can speak to your integrity.
Okay.
Integrity is key. I mean, it's key for us. Even if you come to us and we sense a lie, even if you call it a white lie, or you say it's tiny weeny, you can't see it, forget it. It won't be approved.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lie. That's what
it's a lie.
So it won't be approved. Yeah.
Okay. So we have a question. We have so many questions today. Do you, as from Ifoma Ifejika, she says, do you assist small and SMEs with loans and guidance? I guess so. You've already answered that. The ones with growth potential. I guess that's not just loans, but advisory services. Is that part of the package you offer, advisory? I know you do offer that as a different.
Yeah. So we offer. So the question is, what advisory? Yes, we do, and that was why I told you then that if you come to us and we even have to turn you down, we actually tell you the reason why. Right? There are people that have come to us for different reasons. Some people come to us and they apply for a loan, and one of the reasons why we can't go further is because we can't tell the business separate from the owner. So everything is just mobbled up. So we won't just say no. We are going to advise you that, look, you can't keep your books this way. You can't keep running your business. I mean, some people actually have business names registered, but they will still run their businesses in their personal names. Sometimes we give concessions, but we tell them that, look, you can't do that. And that's because we can't tell your business's money from your personal money. So, and even for your own sanity, honestly, for your own sanity, right? Why don't you separate your pull them up? You say, okay, let me quickly take 50K here. I'll return it. It's for the business. I'll do this. I'll do that. You don't have anything separate. At some point, it gets too much, and you won't be able to trace it. So we offer those. So I would say financial advisory. Yes, we do. Loan, and particularly tailored to things that can help you improve your chances of getting a loan and improve your chances of making your company look financially responsible. Yeah.
Okay. Anita has asked about default rate, but I think you've already talked about that in answering the question on the compliance rate, which is you said 90%, and it dipped.
That was before prior COVID.
Before prior COVID.
It's dipped. Yes. It dipped a lot, not just a little during COVID, during the lockdown.
Yes, during the lockdown. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you've had to enforce recovery,
Oh
where
yeah,
the
sure. You
loan
would
went
always
really
have to
bad?
enforce recovery.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. You always have to enforce recovery. Always. I mean, there's just that one, two, three people, particularly. So we operate in Port Harcourt and Lagos, right? Port Harcourt guys are fantastic, but Lagos people, they are quite sophisticated, and they try to always game the system. Too
Okay.
sophisticated. And when I say sophisticated, I don't mean it in a derogatory way to business. Sorry, to Port Harcourt, right? When I say, I'm trying to tell you that they try to game the system. They try to
Okay.
ensure that, these are people that they are serial borrowers. They've gone from A to B to C, and they already know what is obtainable. So they want to
Okay.
try to ensure they come here and game you, right? So we have external recovery agents that we move after a couple. So we have policies, of course, in place. So we are quite structured. We are quite a structured organization. We have policies in place for moving recoveries to our external recovery agents, and they do the job with recovery. They are even, I mean, because that's their core work. They are fantastic, and it makes us focus on our own core business as well.
Great. Great. So just because you're a woman-led business doesn't mean you're afraid to do the hard work. You know.
No,
Well.
no, 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 I'm not. In
Yeah.
fact, some people that have not heard me speak before, they always think I'm a man. Always. They think I'm a man. I mean, I get emails, dear sir, or yeah, I get dear sir, or
Yes.
if they want, I mean, when the business started and it was just me, a lot of people call these days. I mean, I don't get a lot of calls like that anymore, because I mean, there are many people working with me now. But in the early stage where we were really young and it was just me, or we were maybe about three or four, when they call, in fact, they first send me an email as if I'm a man, Mr.
Yes.
Ife, not even. And then when they now eventually call me and they hear a lady's voice, you see that hesitation,
Yeah.
right? And they're like, okay, am I speaking with Ife Business? And I'm like, this is she. And they're like, oh, okay. And then for some people who meet me, and after that, initially they're like, okay, this person is a man. Then they speak and they're like, okay, she's not a man, she's
This is a,
actually a lady.
a
Then in their
lady.
head, they've pictured the kind of lady, the way I look. So when they see me, they're like, ah. So they expect a huge, and I'm just like, okay, this is me. Some of them have even said, very unassuming. Are you serious? Are you this? Are you that? How can a lady be? And I'm just like, this is she. Can we get to let's talk
Can we
about,
talk?
am I delivering on, yeah, let's get to the business of the day, right? Let's, if I deliver, forget me. And it's interesting because when you see things like that, because of what people think, this particular sex or gender should be the one in this kind of industry, or should be the one doing stuff like this because of, money, default rates, and all of that. It's quite an interesting and tough industry, but it's fine, right? You're happy because you're like, okay, you think a man is able to do it, but as well. Okay, so it's not just a man thing. You have the brain. I mean, is it not the same brain? I don't get it. Is it not the same brain? We're all human beings, right? So yeah, behind there, you keep thinking I'm a man, except you go to our website and then you now see that, oh, the CEO is actually a lady. But some people don't even go to our about page to see that it's a lady. So I always get that as well. It's tough, but it's a part of my job I enjoyed in the bank. Booking assets, doing credit is a part of the job I enjoyed while I was in the bank, and that's what I do now. So yeah.
You do now. You've touched on something that I really am interested in, the gender issue. And not just in terms of you, because those are the typical misconceptions and stereotypes that people face, but
Yeah.
also from the perspective of only want to borrow small money. And you didn't answer the question of how big. What is the largest amount that we can get? How I mean, if I
Okay.
want to run an oil services company, for instance, I know I probably wouldn't get everything I want from you. But I'm thinking about, yeah, it may not be a big company. I mean, if you look at in terms of the assets, there's so many things I may be able to loan, collaborate with other people from. But I'm thinking about, I'm it's time we started widening our minds to the possibility that there is so much more money we can access. You understand? Starting from building a credit history with working with Biz Nurture, growing with Biz Nurture, probably getting. I'm sure if they see my credit history with Biz Nurture, I don't have one yet, but I will. You know, as they see my credit history with Biz Nurture, I can possibly access more funds. You understand? For what I want to do. So it goes back to what we talked about, the vision. The vision. How big is your vision? Are you happy to stay as a mom and pop business? Are you happy to keep banking from the bank of husband or bank of mom and dad, the bank of friends, the bank of your own current account, the bank of your shoe and bag and jewelry? You understand? So a lot of us stay in that space. And I would like you to speak to that issue. How would you, through Breeze Nurture, actually encourage not just women, men to scale up, especially in this ecosystem? Because you said you operate in Port Harcourt and Lagos. Are those the only two places you operate in? Are those the only two places?
Yes.
Okay, for now. Okay.
Yeah, for now.
Okay. So how would you be able to encourage people to scale up their dreams as well and access like heavy duty financing?
Okay, so let me just quickly speak to the maximum amount we give in Business Nurture. It's 5 million. So the minimum amount is 500,000. The maximum amount is 5 million. And the reason is because, in lending, there's a whole spectrum, right? The kind of people you find in lending to below, say, a 500,000, 20,000, 100,000 are different. Their behaviors are different from the people you see within 500,000 and 5 million. So it's a big spectrum, and we decided to start with that niche, right? So that's that. In terms of scaling up, that's really an interesting question, because even with my own journey, like I said at the beginning, it was just me. Right, I did this for 2 years, and right now we are about 15 in the company. And I had to, when I first started, I remember my first mentor, official mentor from Wimbies, told me that, Ife, you're running a hobby, not a business. And that thing hit my bone marrow.
It hit you.
It hit me. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. And I'm like, no. She was like, and I'm like, yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but I mean, that's not the vision, right? And when I got into it, I didn't even know it was going to turn out the way it is right now. I just started. When I came back, I had a friend who is one of my current business partners as well. We had said I think I've talked about this a lot. He had come to me and he was asking me questions. So he was thinking of doing something around crowdfunding. And he had come to me and we're like, oh, let's do the project together. But then we were doing, when you're just fresh from the MBA, you've got to show your skills. And we were trying to show our skills by, dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's. But one thing we did not do was we did not move. We did not move, and God actually blesses movement. You can't say you want something, you just be wanting and you stay there. But there's something called the law of movement, and the universe rewards the law of movement. So it's when you now move that things begin to, and it's still going to address the question you asked about scaling up. So those things, those things will now begin to fall in place. So yes, I started, he moved on, right? And I was now left again in Port Harcourt. I did not want to go back to a job. So what did I do? I went back and I was like, okay, minimum viable service. What's the minimum thing? We had done this elaborate business plan. We had done a lot of research. We had done all of those things. So I was like, okay, fine. My money, I'd actually started giving people my money even before we started working on the project. So I was like, okay, set up a business name, right? And start something under that business name. Okay. And that was how I started. After that, I registered a limited liability company. Then, I put my husband's name in it because it was just me at that point. But as I got into it, I was like, okay, this is getting interesting. I did more research. I'd attended a lot of conferences during my MBA, right? And I'd seen that fintech worked. And I was like, it would be nice if someone did it. But because I didn't want to do it, I was just saying, oh, this is nice and all of that. But now I went back to the material life, did a lot of, okay, we're not doing crowdfunding. Can we do this? Can we do that? So the vision started becoming clearer. The vision, I now wrote down the vision. Yeah, exactly. It became clearer. Okay, this is what I want to do. This is this and all of that. And then, when it became clearer and I was already doing the work, this friend that we did the business plan together, I kept, talking to him, and he even said, if anything you want to do with technology and strategy, just let me know. I'll be happy to help you out free of charge. He was working with Access Bank then. And, but I kept on saying my financials. I'm a chartered accountant, so I was keeping my records. So I kept on sending him my financials. Like, look, this is what is happening. This is it. So I made a call to him. I was like, come, let's do this thing together. Leave Access Bank. Let's come and figure this thing out together. And well, coincidentally, he was also leaving, in June of 2017. And I was like, okay, let's do it. We sold the vision to him. So he was like, let's do it. He introduced me to one more person and we came together. So sometimes to scale, you need to bring people on board. And it's fine if you don't want to bring people on board. I know people that run fantastic businesses with their spouses and their husbands and all of that. For me, I remember when we started, I told my husband to bring money. Let's do this thing. He was like, baby, I'm too scared. Don't let us put our eggs in one basket. I was like, okay. He's not yet there. He's not there. So, and he did not oppose to me running the business. He supported me. He got me a new laptop, got me a new printer, that was his own way of supporting, which was fine.
Yeah.
That was where he was. And I wasn't upset. But when he started seeing track record by himself, he was like, baby, no, this is our business. Our business. I said, Uncle, our business.
How?
So, yeah, exactly. So because I had that vision and it became clearer, I needed people who could help me in carrying out that vision, right? And I was looking for that. And his name is Okpe. He had that. I knew he had it. He introduced me to a third person. I remember calling the third person and we sat down. For me, I was just chatting with him just to understand what he was bringing into the business. He said, Ife, your interview was, oh my God, intense. I was like, no, I was just chatting. I just want to. Yeah.
Guys, Ife is
chat with you.
Don't marry her. She doesn't have any casual chat. Ife is intense.
So we had that, and I was happy with what he was bringing in. And you also want to be clear on exactly what they're bringing on board, right? These people to scale up. I knew I couldn't do it alone. So to scale up, you tell them, look, this is what it's going to take. He also said that it was also a warning session for him.
Okay.
I needed to let him know this is what is going. This is the vision. The vision is huge, and we need time, not just money, time, commitment, everybody being on board. I'm the kind of person that does not have time to chase people. I believe in self-respect, right? And for me, self-respect is these are your roles and responsibilities, and you know what you need to do. It's different from coming to me for clarity and all of that. You know what you need to do. I'm not going to be chasing you to do what you need. I needed people like that they respected themselves enough for someone to come and be chasing them to do what they needed to do. So for me, personality mattered. And because I got introduced to this third person through Okpe, who I know very well, and after having that conversation with him, I was like, okay, fine, let's do this together. So in scaling up, it's not just only about, and let me backtrack. So it's not only, apart from money, so it's not just money. Apart from money, I've also listed some things I needed. Technical expertise, people's knowledge, right? So all of those things were needed in addition to money. Oh, we needed money as well. So all of those things, I decided to go the partnership route and bring these guys on board. And yeah, my husband didn't oppose to it. I mean, okay, my husband knows my guys, and I mean, he's supportive, right? I've heard stories about people's husbands not want. In fact, one of my aunties called me and asked me that, how can I be going into business with another man or with two other men? That does my husband like it? I'm telling you, I got that call, but
Did she ask you what kind of business you're doing?
she knew. So yeah, so I got them in, and yeah, we started again. It was towards the same goal. Things have evolved. In fact, the vision has gotten bigger, and it's very scary to me. And this is a function of having 3 people with big,
and that's a
big
great
visions
thing.
together.
That's a great
So
thing. If it's not scary,
yeah.
then that's a hobby. It has to be scary. It has to be scary.
Yes.
So I'm glad.
Yeah. So we have that, and yes, and we have that, but we still needed investors. Our money wasn't enough, so we still needed investors in the business, right? And the question is, I mean, if you had woken me up about 10 years ago to ask me if I would ever take money from anybody to run a business, number one, I won't even run a business. Number two, no, I would not take money from anybody. But we got to that point where scaling up meant that we need funds from people. And when I say funds, we've taken a lot, 9 digits. 9 digits investments. That's what we have in Business Toolbox. 9 digits, which is a lot. And I'm just like, oh my God, it's scary. But the question is, does the money have a purpose? One of our investors called me, before giving us the money, like, if I give you this money, are you planning on relocating to Canada? And I was just like, I mean, even if I go to Canada, you know me. I mean, these are people that have known me. Then, in fact, our investors are a lot of people that knew me while I was in the bank. People, they're not related to me. They not family. I mean, initially it was family and friends, but when we started scaling up, there are people that I was the account officer when I was in the bank. So your network matters, irrespective of where you are, right? That network, whatever it is they saw in me while I was in the bank, some of them just called me and said, Ife, we like what you're doing and I would like to invest money. I didn't go to them. Our top 2 investors, they gave us half of their they own half of the investments in our business. They just called me up and said, Ife, we like what you're doing. We want to give you funds. They started at an amount, they've even increased the amount, right? So yeah, if I was scared, I wouldn't have, the business would have just probably been just me. I won't take money from people, I won't scale. The opportunity is there. The opportunity I saw is there. A high risk opportunity, because you also have to, you have to mitigate all your risk. It's high risk, but then there are people that believe in you because they've seen you, they've worked with you before. Even family, there are some family and friends that you probably don't believe in today. So, and that's because of their track record. Yeah. So in scaling up, I don't think people should be scared. Have clarity on what exactly you want to do, and let that vision, purpose, whatever it is, be scared. Rather be clear, right? You can be scared. That fear would always be there. But once there's that clarity and there are steps into, you've laid down the steps. And that's why a business plan, some people think is overrated, right? Sometimes I also think it's overrated. But one of my partners has told me as well that, look, a business plan forces you to think. It doesn't mean that will be your reality. And that's why I've come to realize that it is a moving document, right? So it forces you to think. So once you've done that thinking, the fear will be there. But then sometimes you have to just take that step in spite of your fear to scale up to where you want to get to, right? You have to just take that step, and one step at a time. And also there's nothing like 100% financing. most times you would have had to start small. I started small. I started with my money. So it was because I was saying, this thing is working. My money is coming back. I'm able to do
Back,
X, Y,
yeah.
and Z. That was how I was able to go out to, become more comfortable in taking funds from people. And when I took funds, the fact that, say, 10 million is available to you doesn't mean you should take the 10 million.
10
By
million.
all means, take 1 million if that's all you need. Start small. Start from that small 1 million and, grow that. And we have people come to us and say, maybe they call. I mean, some of the feedback I get from our sales team is people call and say, oh, you guys can do up to 5 million. No problem. It's 5 million I want. And we're like, no, what do you need the 5 million for?
Yeah.
Do you really need the 5 million? So we assess you and check. Do you really need it? If you don't need it, no, we're not going, we'll drop it. We'll drop it if we really see that, yeah, you need the funds. So people should start small. When the fear is there, start small. The vision should be big. But just imagine your for those who have kids, building Legos, right? Before they build that image of a Lego, say they are building a ship with Legos. That big ship, it's little blocks, right? Little blocks. So you pick a block until you get to that big thing. With money to it, it's exactly like that, right?
Yeah.
Small, take the loan, scale up. Even with scaling up, is like that. Your vision is big, but you're not going to jump to that vision. Yeah. I had a consult. So one of the things I also do personally is I do consulting for people. I do personal consulting for people. And one of the things, someone came to me for consulting, I think 2 weeks ago. We sat down for 2 hours and she's like, she wants a lending service company. And she was like, oh, it'll be where you guys are. And I'm like, no, it didn't start you can't, it's not where we are. I can't give you where we are like this. It's a journey. And we are not even yet there. It's taken us 4 years to get to this place. And the first 2 years was even an individual journey. The last 2 years, a team journey. So just start. Small. Scale step by step. Yeah. But clearly
that's something that we hear.
The steps that will make you get there.
This is something we've heard throughout this month. Just start. When people just start, get clarity, follow your passion, and I temper that with follow where your vision lies. Because if your vision is not clear, you're either having
Yeah, it has to. Highly effective people. Yeah, sure.
To ask her question, but this is not her question. This is from Victoria, and she says, must an investor be a partner? An investor in your business, must it be a partner?
No. An investor in your business doesn't have to be a partner. I mean, we have a lot of investors that are not partners in our business. So no.
Okay. Yeah. Someone says
and I think it's. Oh,
can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
So can I. Everything is on high. Okay. Well, I hope. And then this is from my daughter, my 13-year-old.
No sound.
No sound. I don't know what's that happening.
But can they hear me?
Can you
I'm just wondering if it's just.
I don't know if they can hear me. Okay, they said audio is back.
Fantastic.
Okay, great. So my daughter wants to do many things, and her latest thrill is a bistro. So she would like to know, starting small, how would you be able that will help you make money? Now, please know she's 13 years old. This might change by the time she's 14. You understand? But she's been very interested.
Yeah.
She's been very interested in how to make money. It's been the focus, and I encourage her a lot. So, is it possible that you can start even having financial intelligence conversations with children? Because I would like her to talk to to you. Yes, yes.
Yes, I mean, absolutely. My kids
Yes.
are younger, and these are conversations. Even my friends' kids as well. One of my friends' son just put up something like a restaurant, like a mini restaurant. I think the
Okay.
earlier the better, because it opens them to
Okay.
a lot of options. Some of the things we feared. One of the reasons why I didn't leave my job then was I was scared of money. You see, this money, um, I was just scared. But it's good to have them, and we're in a world right now where we understand that, look, I don't need to be in a corporate environment to offer my services, right? And I'm not
Yeah.
saying there's anything
Yes.
wrong with being in a corporate environment, right, to offer services, product, whatever it is you want to do. So yes, please let her have, it's a fantastic time to, in fact, even earlier, have financial conversations with them, businesses and all of that. I would say she should watch. There's a show called Shark Tank. I'm going to look for the
Okay.
episodes that have the children that go on Shark Tank to them speak, then she would really be encouraged. I mean, it doesn't have to, next year it can be another business, it can be what it is, but at least she's having that mind of, financial intelligence,
Financial
the business
intelligence. Yeah.
intelligence, and all of that.
Yes.
So yes,
Yes.
yes, it's very good. And when I say start small, she can start really basic. It doesn't have to be a lot of money. Most of them just start, she can even take a loan from you, just 100K, start
This is
baking little, and then it
this is the
starts coming
problem.
in. And no,
Okay.
you were saying
Well, we have
something. Why did you say it's a problem?
no, it's not a problem in the sense that my daughter starts out, she's really very enthusiastic, and then
Mm-hmm.
after a while, it's like, oh, okay, mommy, I think I
Uh,
really want to do a spa service, and everything she wants, she
uh,
has, and she wants to do it now. Mommy, can you give me money?
yeah.
And like, how
Okay.
much money do you need?
Yeah.
You know, but I
Mm,
like the fact that she keeps coming back. She keeps
yes.
coming back. So when she
Mm-hmm.
goes on
Mm-hmm.
social media, she looks at ideas that children are doing and like, okay, mommy, I saw a child doing this and a child doing that. If I
Mm-hmm.
were to do it, would you encourage me? I'm like, yeah, sure, start. But I think
Mm-hmm.
we are going to sit
Mm-hmm.
down and we are going to watch this Shark Tank together. We
Yeah.
will we will watch that
Mm,
together and
yeah.
see.
I think they have free
Yes.
episodes on YouTube, older
Okay.
episodes, maybe not more recent
Okay.
ones. I think they have. I think I saw some on YouTube. So you can. I think what she just needs to find is, and it's not uncommon. I mean, she's still young. It's not uncommon even for
Yes.
adults.
Oh
Sometimes you're just
yes.
like, okay, this is what I want to
We
do.
flip
Tomorrow you're
flop.
like, that's what I
Yeah.
want to do. Next tomorrow you're like,
Yeah.
so it's always. So I think what she once she gets exactly what she wants, and yeah, what she's probably passionate about. We talked about, people talked about passion, and sometimes you don't even know
Passion.
you're
Yeah.
passionate about something. Even for me as an individual, I never thought I was passionate about credit. It took me sitting down to say, okay, this aspect of my job I actually enjoyed. It wasn't like I hated my job 100%. There were just some parts I liked, and then, picking it out, I'm like, okay, credit actually interests me. Let's go for it. So, and yeah, and sometimes it just takes a while to discover that thing. But I just like the
That's
fact that
it.
she
Yeah.
has that spirit.
Oh
So
yes,
as
it
though even
does.
if it changes tomorrow, yeah, and maybe she just starts little. I mean, with the Bristol today, she just bakes something, sells out to people, money comes in. It doesn't. Yeah, they have that thing of, let it be big now. She just needs to understand that little, let's start
We start
small.
little by
Yeah,
little.
but I'm so happy. Yeah, and I can have those
Yes, it does.
conversations with my kids
Fantastic.
too.
Okay, great. So I will get and I'll get my godchildren in Port Harcourt, and I guess I can get all my godchildren. I have so many of them, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah, we
we'll
can
just
plan
sit around
something
and
and see
zoom
what we
in.
can do.
Yeah, I'm sure
Yes,
some of
yeah.
I'm sure all the parents would like to pay and keep them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because you see,
Mm-hmm.
interestingly, we had Julia Jackson Consulting had a vision session with children at I think it was in December or early this year, and they got it
Okay.
like this. They just
Mm-hmm.
got it like that. They were able to say, okay, this is what, when you ask them, what kind of movie do you want your life to be? They hit it right on the head. They didn't
I'm
second
telling
guess. So I think
but
this is a
children
good time.
always know. Yes,
Yes.
they always know, and it's
Yes.
time to just condition them in that space. What I mean is, because as life happens, that's when we now start becoming adults and we begin to overthink things and all of that. But
Yes.
when we start early with them like this, oh my God,
Yes.
I don't want my children to get to my age and be as confused as I was.
I
Oh
don't
my God.
want
As
it.
in, let them know who they are now. Everything we can give to them, because they get it. Their spirit draws onto that. The Bible also says, except ye be like little children. And that
Children.
is sometimes
Yeah.
what we as adults need to learn how to
Yes.
be, even in moving to
Just
the
be like,
next phase of our lives. Yeah.
yes.
So yes,
Yes.
I would find that interesting, honestly. That'll
And
be
we kind
good
of,
to
right
have
now
them
she's
all
doing her
together.
internship with us, so she's earning an income. So she'll be able to pay you at least something.
That's fantastic. That's very great.
Yes.
That's very great.
Yes.
If you look at
Yes.
common stories of a lot of people, a lot of big people out there, you find out that in their in their in their early years, they did something. They got
Yes.
involved, they
Yes.
earned something. Look at the Warren Buffets, the Mark Cuban. You find out that in their early
Yes.
years, they had tried out stuff. And I'm just like, oh my God, I knew I did some holiday jobs, but I think in my time, I didn't have someone make me understand why. And that's why we have to
Why?
get involved with our kids. Because I was just like, why am I doing this now? Why am I doing this? Oh, I feel like a child of a poor parent. You see your rich friends going on summer, and then they now hit you. You're not like you're doing a holiday job, But then, whether you are rich or not, whether we have all the money in the world or not, you are gonna get on
Yes.
it. So yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
and on making them understand the
Oh,
why, really, the
and
why.
the why is very important. If I'm
Yeah.
going to take you up on this. I'll just do a quick roundup of my
Okay.
friends, um, and see how many of us are interested, so we can get a critical mass.
Mm-hmm.
And then, since they're in front of their devices anyway, they might as well zoom in and, and talk to you. You know,
Anyway,
yes,
yes,
yes. You know.
yes,
Okay, we have a last
yes.
question here from Joyce. She said, in England, we have community credit
Okay,
loans. However, how do people tap into this from
okay.
outside Nigeria? That's how do people tap into your alternative financing from outside Nigeria? Is that possible?
Oh, okay, okay. I was trying to get the question. No, it's not possible. For now, we only serve business. In fact, even within Nigeria, we are only focused on Lagos and Port Harcourt. So you can't tap into our financing right now. Again, that might change. That might change later on, but for now, you can't access that financing from outside the country.
Okay. Okay. Well, we have no doubt in our mind. I have no doubt in my mind that this nurture is going to grow exponentially. And I'm happy that I've been here on the ground floor with you. You know, I remember the first time we met. I still have your old card. I still have your old card. You know, and
You have that
oh yeah,
old, the
I
first one
have
when I
that
was
old.
alone.
Very
Yeah.
yes, I have that old card. You know, but there's something that we have to say as we are rounding up, and I'm so happy that we're rounding up with you. Every guest we've had has been pretty special, but I know the money issue is something that kind of gives. Can I? Will I? I can do my market research. I can have the passion, but how are we going to do about this
Hmm.
money? But what you've done to a large extent is that you've demystified the money. Just as we had a conversation with Jerry, and she demystified the whole legal thing and taxation thing. And Jerry, in fact, there's some people I've asked to come talk to you because they want to see if they can get some money together and engage your services. So, girl, I need my percentage. for sending business your way, you know, and if Akosese is sending business your way. But also,
Yes,
this
so
brings, yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. We didn't come here to look at roundabouts in Port Harcourt, John. We came, we came here to make money. We're here to make money. Yes. So, I'd like to thank you. I don't think there are any more questions, but there's been a tremendous amount of engagement. I'd like to thank you a lot. Thank you for helping us round up everything, tying it with a pretty bow, and making it very accessible. Thank you. I really do appreciate your time, because I know you don't play with your time, and I knew it was going to be a very engaging
no, I
conversation,
don't.
because when we did our dry run the other day, we just started.
Yeah.
It was like we had started the conversation, and you know. So
True.
guys, go to BizNurture, BIZNUTR NURTURE NURTRE. Listen, guys, I know the English is just failing me right now. Just failing me. Please go to her online. Make your inquiries online. I think for the time we are in, it is better for you to make your inquiries online than in person. You know, let's all limit our exposure and our risk one way or the other, and we will be calling on Ife and other people as we are also planning something bigger. Some of the people are here on this platform. We're planning something bigger. But if I want to thank you, I want to thank Ibim Semenitari. I want to thank Ifoma Ebonu. I want to thank Boye Adefila, Geraldine Oku, and Ife Ibitokun for making the July Business Toolbox Edition out of the park. Thank you very, very much.
I want to thank you too for this opportunity and trusting that this will be fruitful. So thank you too, and it's always awesome chatting with you. I mean, we've literally spun out another idea from this conversation.
Exactly.
So thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you, guys. If you have questions, comments, please drop in our Julia Jacks Consulting. You see, I think I need to let you do this part of it, because she's really good at the selling markets, you know. Julia Jacks Consulting on Facebook and on YouTube, Instagram. And we have a YouTube channel which we are populating slowly but surely. And then give us time. By this time next month, we'll have a lot. But lots of love. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for joining.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
And thanks for thanking me. Miss Julia, thank you so much. All right.
Thank you, Fair.
Bye.
Take care. Bye. Bye, everyone.